Now, candidates for next February's presidential elections in Nigeria have signed an agreement promising to run peaceful campaigns. They've also agreed to respect electoral laws before, during and after the elections to ensure a violence-free process. Nigeria, of course, marching towards presidential elections that many hope will help reset the country's economic, social and political button. Amid growing concerns that fake news and misinformation are creating a toxic environment in the run-up to the ballot, the chairman of Nigeria's National Peace Committee and former military head of state, Abdulsalami Abubakar, appealed to the 18 presidential candidates and their parties to commit to issue-based campaigns. The event was attended by the PDP's Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party's Peter Obi, and the NNPP's Rabiu Kwankwaso. But the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as you heard earlier, was absent, and he was represented by his vice presidential running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima.
The 2023 general election is around the corner. Issues of major concern that have the potential to negatively impact on the integrity are emerging. I'm appealing to the political parties, party chairmen, candidates, and their spokesperson to please campaign on the basis of issues that are of significant concern to Nigerians. Please avoid the spread of fake news, personal attacks, and insults, and comply with the spirit and letter of the accord.
Politicians must not exploit the weaknesses of our people in the way and manner that has made vote buying part of our culture. We hope that with the penalties already spelled out by the chairman of INEC's speech and the IG, that those who compromise the process will face the wrath of the law.
Bishop Matthew Kuka, and before him Abdulsalami Abubakar, who is the chairman of that peace committee. Well, for more on the aims of that peace agreement and how much it might be able to restrain the political parties, I'm joined now in the studio by Senator Sani Musa, chairman of the Committee on Senate Services and a senior member of the ruling APC party. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Charles.
What specifically has this peace committee been looking into with regard to the campaign season and the upcoming elections? I'm curious about what their concerns are.
Thank you very much, Charles. If you recall, in 2015, 2019, and as we are approaching 2023, the Peace Commission, committee, under the leadership of General Abdulsalam Abubakar, believe that there cannot be any good governance in this country, especially when electing new leaders. We must do it in a more peaceful atmosphere. We must do it in a way that it will be very credible. We must do it in a way that we will appreciate each other and believe that we are all Nigerians. So I think one of the essence of this committee is to make sure that the campaigns are run free of rancor. We should at least endeavor to be very factual and be able to at least campaign on issues. Not, today's world with the technology, social media, fake news have become like so common now. And especially among we politicians, especially spokesmen, the committee will want at every level, we should be able to know what kind of issues we're going to discuss and what we are going to propagate to Nigerians. I think every political party have a manifesto, and this commission or this committee of able Nigerians, elder statesmen, what they are looking at is that, look, let's go out and sell what we have as our manifesto, what we intend to do for Nigerians, and what we intend to carry, or where we intend to carry Nigeria, to what level. So it should be issue-based campaigns.
Right. Yeah. So without asking you to look into a crystal ball, which might be rather hard, How fractious do you think things are likely to be in this particular election and campaign season compared to previous ones?
Yeah, I think this election is not going to be comparable to what we have seen in 2015. 2019, it wasn't as rancorous as what we saw in 2015. And I believe that this towards 2023 is not going to be like 2015. Why did I say that? There are so many measures we can count on. If you're talking about APC today, you're talking about maybe the insecurity we've been facing in this country, which of course insecurity was there before the APC come to power, which is even worse than what we saw. And with what we are doing today, tackling this issue, I believe that one area that we will have been attacked so much is that area of security, and I believe that the party has been doing very well. And in that case, what every party will need to do is, what are we going to do in order to sustain what is happening today, and how are we going to improve to make Nigeria a better place in terms of security? In talking about the economy as well, you cannot compare what it is today, because a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians, I think we forget, prior to 2015 elections, if you look at the economy then, we were almost in recession. I mean, in the, what do you call it?
Recession?
Not recession. We're always, the economy was almost collapsing. But the figures we see in papers are completely different.
Well, I don't think you have any evidence to
No,
back
I
that
do.
up.
I do have evidence to say that.
I mean, every single, all economies are assessed.
No.
And figures are used to assess them.
You know, at that time, if you count how much was the barrel of crude oil at that time, we were hitting almost $135 per barrel. And it went a span of almost 12 months or more. It wasn't the case this time.
Look, you can't pull the wool over people's eyes. They can see what is going on. They can feel what is going on. And it's almost patronizing to speak to them when you've got skyrocketing food prices, you've got huge inflation,
it's always human.
You've got the currency going through the roof in terms of its exchangeability with the dollar and so on. I mean, surely you can't be trying to tell people that things were worse then than they are today.
Charles, where were you when Nigeria was spending $16 billion to enhance and improve our power situation?
No. That's an...
I need to make
even though I'm the one supposed to be asking you the question.
I need to make an emphasis on that.
Yeah, the reason you asked a question.
I need to make an emphasis.
You asked a question.
It's not a question.
Well, actually, all the figures from the government and all the figures from the assessing agencies have shown that it wasn't $16 billion. That was just a figure that was put out by someone who obviously had political inclinations. The figure was no more than $5 billion. And that's if you go and check that, you will see that's the case.
That is not true.
Of course it's true.
I can tell you.
That's the fact.
I can tell you that is not true because I have evidential documents to show.
That's $16 billion?
Sure.
I don't buy that at all. Next time you come, bring the documents.
No, I don't have to bring the documents. You know where you can get the documents yourself. But what I'm telling you is that the comparison I'm trying to make between that period and now is that if we have improved on power at that period and we are able to make our manufacturing sector productive and we're producing, we'll be able to export. And when we're exporting...
Yeah, but you've had 8 years and you haven't fixed electricity.
7 years had not been easy. Because if you remember...
Well, you make excuses for yourself, but you don't make excuses for anyone else.
There's no excuses here.
Yeah, so why haven't you fixed electricity?
There are facts.
If you're so good and you can... I mean, you tout yourself as
How do you manage a decay in the power sector for 16 years? Tell me how you do it.
Well, I'm asking you.
Is it going to be?
Why
it's not a rocket science that you just
in
throw.
Almost 8 years. Why have you not fixed?
We've done very well in 8 years. APC have done very well in areas of infrastructure. There is no government in this. There is no government in this country.
You brought up the issue of electricity. Let's focus on that.
On electricity, there is no government. There is no government since 1999 till date that have done what APC is doing today. Today,
I don't understand what you're talking.
What are you talking about? What's the megawatts today? Tell me what you know about the megawatts today.
Look, we have had the grid crashing.
Grid crashing. Do you know why the grid is crashing?
Constantly.
Do you know why the grid is crashing? Do you know why it is crashing?
You tell us.
No. You need to find out why the national grid is crashing. You need to know why.
You see, what you've got to realize.
You know, we're going into election period,
right?
And there are a lot of sabotage. Come on.
Yeah.
You should know that. You should know that.
The bottom line is.
But if you're talking about performance in terms of how to manage our power sector, there is no government that have done it. Look at the discourse. Who owned the discourse? Right. Who sold the discourse?
Right.
When was the discourse sold?
And
who are the people that got the discourse? Are they managing it?
Right.
Are they able to manage it?
Can we get back to the main thrust of this discussion, which was about the Peace Committee and the fact that they're imploring all the political parties, including the APC, to try and conduct themselves as properly as possible. Even if it ends up not being physically violent, which we all hope will be the case, that it's not violent, how much has it been mentally violent for the different sides of the political divide? Because we have seen polarization, tensions, ethnic differences rising, and so on and so forth. What is your assessment of that going into the election?
I think there's no better time that this committee's performance comes up like now. We need it very seriously, because if you look at all the political parties, they have their own internal wranglings, and the division is not just within. It's not just based on either ethical or religion. It's we are not conducting according to the books, because I'm an APC stalwart, and I can tell you categorically that we are working towards pushing all those organs that are responsible to making things right to do it right. And we cannot all the time, when there are things that are not working and we said, oh, I'm decamping to another party. When you decamp, you go and face the same problem in the other party. So all we need to do is to see how we can reform the political parties and make them more strategic in terms of presenting what they will do, developmental efforts they can bring to a country like Nigeria. We have every resources, we have everything, and all we need to do is that if we can follow the books, when I mean the books, we have a constitution, we have manifestos that we are selling to people. If by the time we go out to campaign and we now present our manifesto, you present your development plan, you present whatever you have, for Nigerians to now look at them and then make their own decision, and then allow them so that their votes can also count. I think the job of the committee will be seen to be done very well.
Right. That's a good point. And what's your assessment, because you talked about the votes counting and all the rest of it, what's your assessment of how preparations are going as we head into the final days of the election? Let's look at INEC first.
I have heard in so many forums that INEC dialogues INEC had with non-governmental organizations, CSOs and others, and our partners, our foreign development partners. And their emphasis there have been like vote buying it's becoming so rampant. As a politician, if I perform very well, I can give you a simple example with myself. If you go to my senatorial district.
That's in Niger State.
In Niger State. If you go to my senatorial district, you assess what I have done. And I can package everything that I have done to show my constituents. And I can stand to tell them, that there can't be anyone that can beat me there, because I have performed. But today, just as you were saying, everything has gone skyrocketed high, like cost of foodstuffs and the rest of it. I have always said that economic situation that globally we have faced as a result of the COVID-19, it has not been very easy, especially for developing economies like Nigeria. And a lot of people wouldn't know the impact of that recession, because it's almost a recession that we went in. You've been 2 years without any productivity. And the multiplier effect of that is that the common man on the street will feel it.
Right. Okay. And but you've kind of deviated again from the line of discussion.
No. I mean, I'm on the same line with you. Well, because what you are asking, is that vote buying. What are the things that INEC are putting in place?
Well, how prepared is INEC? I mean, INEC has, you've got nearly 100 million registered voters.
Yep.
At least 18 presidential candidates. I mean, what's your sense of the enormity of the task ahead for the Electoral Commission in terms of logistics, for example? Are you confident?
I believe that INEC rolled out their programs almost more than a year now. And I believe any serious organization, any serious entity, having close to about 24 months to prepare. And as far as a body like INEC is concerned, I don't think it's even wise for them to start preparing 24 months before. Immediately after the previous election, they should be able to take stock of what they have done, where there are lapses, where they need improvements to improve. And
okay, I believe we've got about a minute before we have to end the conversation, sadly. But what about your own party, the ruling APC? Do you see the will there to avoid trying to use their power of incumbency to influence the vote in their favor?
I appreciate the words that came from the leader of the party, who is also the president of this country, where he said he's not going to interfere with the election, it's going to be free and fair. And but
it's not entirely up to him, is it? I mean,
no. I mean, for the leader to have said that, that means he has set the pace. And I believe that every serious politician in APC knows his what, and we have adequately prepared for that. We have performed, and we have those things that we have done to show Nigerians that there cannot be any better government if we have done what we did within these years. That's why the COVID-19 pandemic and other security situations that we faced, but still we were able to do what we have done. I think Nigerians will see a better country in the coming 4 years.
Okay, well, Nigerians are obviously listening to you, and they can make up their minds. Senator Sani Musa, chairman of the Committee on Senate Services and a senior member of the ruling APC party. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Charles.